Oh! Oh! Oh, look at that! Oh! One moment, ladies and gentlemen. My camera's turned off. Well, that's a good start to a new stream, isn't it? Oh, it hasn't turned off. I've unplugged the cable. Well, that's a silly move. Now let's see, does it kick? Is it going to kick in? Hey, there we go. I don't know how this is going to behave. Hello. Yes, it's launch day, and I thought I would do a quick live stream. As someone has said, I've sold my soul. No, I just thought, as there was so much noise around this, I thought it would be worth just putting in a quick live stream to talk about it. Yes, it has finally launched. Yes, the Avata360. Yes, DJI did reach out to me and send me one, and it is the first time that I've heard from DJI in a very long time. Tonight I'm just going to explain a little bit about that, the release, my video, and I want to address a few things, and then we're going to talk about a couple of the comments, the controversy, because man, has there been some whinging. No Acro mode. And why wasn't I complaining about no Acro mode? Why was I not harassing DJI about no Acro mode and not criticizing for it? Well, I'm going to tell you why, because I don't really think this drone should have Acro mode. It's not an Avata 2, and it's not a replacement for the Avata 2, and it's not even a Neo. It's certainly not a beginner FPV drone, and it is the type of drone where I'm just not sure Acro really helps it. But we'll talk about that as we move through as well. But it would be nice if DJI added it. So, yes, it is the worst launch from a secrecy perspective there has been for a very long time. We've all known about it. And look, just so you understand, from my perspective, I was reading my emails about 6-7 weeks ago, and I saw something pop up. And bearing in mind, anyone who does this will know there's loads of companies pretending to be DJI all of the time. However, this was from a contact I knew at DJI a very long time ago. And it was like, oh, that's legit. That's not a dodgy one. And we had a bit of a chat, and it really was genuinely as simple as, hey, we've got this thing we think you'd be interested in. Can you sign the NDA? The NDA was absolutely fine. DJI's NDAs generally have always been okay. There was nothing in it. It was the typical NDA. And then, yeah, it was the Avata360, and they literally delivered it the next day. I was actually astonished how quick it arrived, and it was literally. Now, I haven't had this as long as many creators. Most of the people who've made videos, the bigger channels, have had it from about December. And that explains why there's some misalignment through some of the things people are seeing in videos and stuff, because some of these creators are showing you bits of early firmware, bits of current firmware, and that's where there's been some confusion over Acro mode, because I think 2 of the creators show the manual option. Well, yes, it was there in really early firmware, but it wasn't that it worked, it was just DJI hadn't hidden it properly. In fact, early firmware, the drone worked with the FPV Remote 3. Then DJI took that support away as they worked on it properly, and then only gave it back last week. And that is the firmware that they've released today as well. So there has been some confusion around this. But yes, we have the Avata360, DJI's latest drone. It is not, as I understand it, designed to be a replacement for the Avata 2. It is in many forms a Avata named drone, but it is a different drone. And whilst it can replace the Avata 2, and single lens mode on it is shockingly good, if I'm honest, I was surprised how good single lens mode is, and I wanted to show you guys that actually in the review, which I did. But it is also a 360 drone as well, and DJI have done an awful lot good here. It isn't perfect though, and as I was very clear in my video, this drone does have an Achilles heel at the moment, and that Achilles heel is its video stitching. If you've watched my review or any of the others, it isn't perfect, and getting, say, unaffected footage is surprisingly hard depending on the conditions. Don't expect to fly this drone and say just go for a long flight and not have any issues with stitching. You are going to get periods in the footage where the stitching plays up. I'm hoping DJI can do a bit more work on it. It isn't quite where I think it needs to be. It is absolutely fair to say the A1 is better at live stitching. However, do take into account all of these drones will suffer from how the sunlight affects the lenses. And that, I tell you something, people who fly in high sun areas will have less problems. Low sun winter UK on the horizon or just above is particularly bad. And you do see that in the footage. High sun areas, if you're flying with the sun is up there all of the time, I think things will get a bit better. I genuinely do. Toki said about the variable field of view. Yes, really cool feature. And there's no question, DJI have added some really, really nice little features to this. There are elements that have been done incredibly well. There is really very little about the drone itself I don't like, if I'm honest. I like the design. It's heavy. The flight time's a little lower than I think most people would prefer. You know, I'm seeing between 13 and 15 minutes. If you're used to flying the anti-gravity A1, you're going to see a big difference. That thing flies forever compared to this. Look, it's a bigger, heavier lump. It is DJI's vision. What they have done very well is the live view. It's 04. It's actually called 04 Plus because in China they're going to be selling it with cellular capability, not in the UK or Europe. The Plus element is part of the cellular side. So it comes with DJI 04 Plus, but it's 04. Latency when flying it in the FPV system is on par with the Avata 2. It's not dramatically different. Someone just said, I think we might see a Neo 360 in a few years. I think it's probably inevitable, yeah. Probably a Neo with a fixed top and bottom camera. It's got everything good about it from DJI, and really the only downside is a little bit on the flight time and a little bit on this stitching. Someone said theirs comes tomorrow. What country are you in? Because it isn't actually available outside of China yet. Ocusync 4. Sheffield. It isn't officially launched in the UK. You might be lucky to get one or two, I guess. There's definitely stock, because mine came the next day. From DJI, obviously. I know DJI have got stock, because it literally arrived the following day. But yes, so after all of the hype, it's here. Manual, but yeah, and this is where I think DJI have why they've not put manual mode on it. Manual mode will be interesting with that camera drag setup. And that's why I think there is no manual mode. I think, look, they put manual mode on the Neo 2, and that's got a 2-axis gimbal. So I don't see a reason why they couldn't put manual mode on this, but I do think it's going to be complicated. Wow. Now added 2 batteries and a spare lens to it. And then 10 minutes later, the drone one said, order now. Oh, nicely played. Well done. Pricing is incredible. And here's the truth. I didn't get told the pricing. I didn't get told it. That's why it wasn't in the video. That's why I didn't talk about it, because I didn't know. But the pricing's insane. How much is it with the RC2? The kit price is incredibly cheap compared to the anti-gravity, but I think we all know why that is. I think we all know that DJI is going to be now playing some games when it comes to pricing. UK pricing with the RC2 is $829. That's the Fly More kit. They are being very aggressive with the pricing, to say the least. I still have a little bit of a sort of bee in my bonnet of the price I paid, because I paid full price for the anti-gravity A1. Remember, I wasn't sent it. No, it's not designed to fly in the rain. So, drone only, $409. RC2 kit, $639 with just the remote. Yeah, look, DJI are being super aggressive. Super aggressive here on pricing. Let me be on it. Let's be realistic with ourselves. I think DJI genuinely, the drone itself is incredibly good. And if there's anything you want me to answer, I will now. Overall, the drone is incredibly good. When it comes to this manual mode, I didn't criticize DJI for no manual mode, because here's the truth. I've done a ton of flight time on this, and you can see that for the review. And I just never felt like I wanted it. I was okay. Please say something on the Pocket 4. I don't know anything about the Pocket 4. I'm sorry. I don't review DJI's ground-based cameras. I haven't reviewed anything from DJI for 5 years. This is the first product DJI have spoke to me about in 5 years. I don't know anything about the Pocket. So I genuinely really enjoyed flying this aircraft around. The 360 experience is really good. It's no better than the anti-gravity one. So if we start talking about what is it like in the goggles? Okay, so the camera drone experience I'll talk about in a minute. In the goggles, it is very much like the anti-gravity experience. There are elements of the anti-gravity that are different, because anti-gravity have big square displays. It is a different field of view between the two. Anti-gravity gives you this massive, tall view, whereas this gives you more of a 16:9 view. But looking around is the same on both. The only thing I will say is the vision assist is laggy on this compared to the anti-gravity. On the anti-gravity, the vision assist window pops up instantly. The second you look where you're not pointing forward on the A1, the vision assist is there. The second you do it, it comes up. DJI's, I think the goggles are probably struggling a little bit. Remember, DJI's haven't replaced the goggles, and it's not that the live view isn't good, but what I notice is, and you will see it in the review, and this was a critical point I made, it's a little laggy to come up. It doesn't always come up, and you almost see it being drawn. It doesn't come up straight away. It sort of comes up in bits and pieces at times. So I think DJI have maxed out the goggles a bit here. But the overall live view experience is as good as the anti-gravity. I'm not going to say it's better, because it isn't. And anyone who tells you it's better is lying. It is on par. Which is great, because anti-gravity did it so well. Does the FPV remote work with it? So remote-wise, you can fly this drone with either the RC2 without goggles, and you cannot use this with goggles. It's either this and this, or you can use it with goggles 3, the goggles N3, with either the motion, the RC Motion 3 or the FPV Remote 3. But DJI have only just added the FPV Remote 3 support officially. And that's the and that doesn't give you, FPV Remote 3 gives you less features than the RC Motion 3. When flying with the RC Motion 3, you have the Spotlight mode, Spotlight Focus mode, you have the Easy Acro mode. You don't have any of that with the RC3. You have head tracking, but you don't have the additional modes. I'm not, unless they give you manual, I really don't think it's worth flying with the DJI RC3. You may as well fly with the RC Motion. You get used to it in 2 minutes. So that's the remote options. DJI have also added support for the RCN3, which I didn't know about. I hadn't heard. Yes, it's noisy as hell. Absolutely is noisy as hell. I did say that in my video as well. It's loud. I didn't waste any time filming it, but it's loud. Very loud. Someone just asked, are the live stitching issues carried over and baked into the actual footage? Yes, they're in the footage. If you see an issue on the display in stitching, you've got that issue in the goggles footage. Yeah, the Avata 1 is also very noisy. How does it compare to the Avata 1? I'd have to put them side by side. It's definitely noisy. That's for sure. Do you still lose RC connection if you use video signals? Yes, that's how O4 works. If that manual mode does come, that camera will be the first thing to go on a crash. I don't really understand why people think this is more fragile than the Neo 2. It's like, guys, this module is absolutely freaking solid. It's baked into the front of it. If you're going to break this, you're going to break the Neo 2. Is the head tracking in the goggles with 360? Yes. Yes, I've tried it a huge amount. If you haven't seen the review, I have tried it a dramatic amount. Ham file? Yes, I did hint at it in the video. Yes, the ham file absolutely works as you would expect when using FPV goggles, but it is only when you are using FPV goggles. You can't use the ham file with the RC2. Ham file does give full FCC mode when using it with FPV goggles 3 and N3. To understand the value of this drone, an Insta360 X5 is the same price without a drone. Yeah, and that tells you what DJI are up to. That does tell you what DJI are up to. Just to give you an idea for the review on this, just to give you guys an idea. So here's my raw, let's put this up, desktop. So here's my raw footage recording from this drone. My working file for this is 361 gigabytes. The stitch line is baked into the footage. The bit people sort of don't understand, and we'll come and look at some stuff now. So the first thing to understand is when you're in 360 mode, it is recording 360 mode, but your heading is the anchor point. So when it's recording 360, it still has an anchor point. So when you're flying in normal 360 mode forward, without head tracking on, it is anchored forward. If you then turn on head tracking and fly forward and look to the left, the anchor point is to the left. The anchor point is basically what you're seeing through the goggles, but it is recording all around you. So if we take a look at the goggles footage as an example, I'm picking random files here because I'm not sure what's on each one. That's a short file. Let's have a look. Some of this is me testing as well, so not all of this is flight footage. So this is Easy Acro, where it does the Easy Acro moves. What's quite funny about Easy Acro is, you see, the drone doesn't move. It's just the camera view that moves. But that is also baked in to the footage. So this is the goggles recording, but it is also baked in to the recorded footage as well. So when you're looking at 360 files from this drone, if we open up DJI Studio, which is going to be a risk doing this on a live stream, does it have a built-in microphone? No, not that I'm aware. So if I now just grab a 360 file from the drone, how big is, let's try this. Let's try this one. Audio is a bit low, is it? Oh, it should be the normal level. So here is, if we drag the file down, so here is the file you get in DJI Studio. So even there, at the very start there, just watch, you will see the stitch line. Ah, you will see that stitch line. Oh, is it not playing? Oh. Okay, that's weird. If I do that, there. Did you see that sort of, that effect? That is the stitching doing weird stuff. So you can get that. Can I go full acro? No, there is no full acro on this drone. But look, we can look around. So this is recorded, and look, this is a lower resolution proxy file. But that is currently the direction of travel. But we do have all of the directions that you can use. So you are recording all around you at all times. So you see a move here in a minute that I do live. And you'll see it in a minute. And I show you it. Can't you just upload a full 8K? No. I don't know if YouTube can take the 360 file as it is. I've never tried, because it's not a standard file format. The file format is completely proprietary. You have to edit it. Now this isn't full quality, just take that into account. This is edited. Not edited, sorry, proxy. But what's cool is it does record. It's recording, you know, the 360 all of the time. As you accelerate it, does it maintain horizon? Yes. Yes, so if you look at the takeoff, right, you do get this up and down, you know, but yeah, it's maintaining horizon there. And then you'll see, as I move, it went off. Yeah, the cliff, they just couldn't. We don't know the KV of the motors. DJI don't publish it. It's not a powerful drone. Like the Avatas, don't expect it to be a powerful drone. It is quicker. It definitely feels quicker than the anti-gravity A1. It is more of an FPV-centric product. And there's a couple of things that make it better. and I've started a comparison, actually, video. And there are 2 or 3 things that really fundamentally make this more fun as an FPV product. Here's number 1. The DJI Motion is better for left-handed people. I really struggle with the anti-gravity remote. And the reason I struggle with it, let me grab it and show you. Because this isn't, oh, I love DJI and I hate anti-gravity. This is genuine, they made their remote in a stupid way feedback. So, if we grab the 2 remotes for these 2, okay, and go to the overhead. So, both of these remotes are designed for right-handed people. However, DJI's is absolutely more ambidextrous. So on the anti-gravity, in the right hand, you've got your menu button here, which you're designed to get to with that button there. You've got your mode switch here, which you're meant to get to with that finger. And then you've got your 2 buttons here, like that, okay? If you are left-handed, you can't get to any of them. I am left-handed, so I am blocking the mode switch. I can't get to that button. I can't get to that button. And I can't stretch to that button. So I can't change modes. I can't use the additional easy-to-get-to features if you're left-handed. Whilst DJI's has the record button here, everything else is pretty much ambidextrous. So, as an example, you're meant to fly the DJI like this. That's your wheel, that's your mode button, that's your emergency stop, and that is your joystick, and then you can get to there, and if you want to hit record, you're meant to do it like that. However, as a left-handed person, I can still get to the roller wheel. I've still got my mode, I've still got that, and if I want to hit record, I can actually squeeze and hit record. Squeeze in, I don't know if you can hear that. All I do is that, and I can hit the record. It's really easy. So there is a fundamental difference between these 2 as a left-handed user. Genuinely, it is massively different. Secondly, DJI has one main feature that kicks the anti-gravity's ass, and it is the fact that you can fly it backwards with this remote. The DJI remote pushes forward to fly the drone backwards. You cannot fly the anti-gravity A1 backwards. Now, you might be thinking, well, why would you want to fly it backwards? Well, when you're trying to bloody land on a landing map manually, and it's a little bit windy and the drone is constantly moving around, with the anti-gravity, you've got to keep going like this to rotate the frickin' thing to try and get it where you want it. Whereas on DJI, if you overshoot, you just tell it to fly backwards. Trust me, how big a difference that is in itself. Who'd have thought being able to fly a drone backwards would be such an important feature to have? But if you land your drone manually, trust me, you need it. And it's madness. It's madness that there is no backwards on the anti-gravity A1. And there is no way to fly backwards on the anti-gravity A1 today. It's not that it's the road. It's just like, there's no way. So look, the remote on DJI is better. I actually really enjoyed flying it with this remote. Honestly, these flights were all with that remote. This flight you're seeing here was all with this remote. All with the RC motion. If I go to full screen, all of this is a little bit slow here. Let's go from there. All of this was done with the RC motion. Love Toy 3, yeah. Yeah, you'll be able to fly backwards when the stick controller comes. Yeah, most likely. You get used to the RC motion. What I will say, though, is the drone does have this sort of coordinated turn behavior, though. But that's not as bad in 360 mode. It's a lot smoother in 360 mode. But look, I don't really think this is an Acro drone. One of the reasons I didn't criticize DJI for the lack of manual mode was just the fact I don't really think it's designed for that market. It would be great if they added it, but I'm just not sure this drone is really designed for it, being truthful. I didn't feel it lacked as a result of it. That's why I didn't sit there and say it should have it. I didn't feel it lacked as a 360 filming drone. Does the DJI controller 3 support head tracking? Head tracking, I am 99% head tracking works with the DJI RC3. I need to double check. Do you know, I always struggle to get these goggles to come on. So, but look, it certainly has its benefits. Is it 10 times better than the anti-gravity A1? No, that would be a lie. That would look, if someone says to you it's the best drone that's ever made, come on. Let's cut the bullshit. Let's not be telling things that aren't true. Is it very, very good? Yes. I'm trying to find a bit of thing I wanted to show you that I did for real as well with the remote. Those recordings I did, I showed in the video, and I want to show this. This feature I really like. The fact that you can do this in the remote. And I did, if this is the right video, I did a bunch of takes on this to try and get it right. And once you get used to it, I did this recording live on the remote, where you, with the DJI RC2, pan up and over. This isn't the best one I did. I got one wrong where I overshot it. You see me rotate it over and then cross into the rotation. Oh, that one I went right over and over, which you can fly with it like that with the window at the bottom. This is the Osmo. I think I spin around and do another one now so you'll see it. Actually didn't do it on that one, did I? I was flying back. So let's start it again. So you'll see it here a bit slower on this one. This or the A1. Look, I think they're different drones for different purposes. If you want the very best 360 footage, how many times did I fall over when doing this? I would go with the A1 a minute. And then, look, you can do this and then rotate it as you're doing it on the remote. And you're doing this with the controls and buttons. And it's really cool to do. And this isn't the one that's in the video. The best one I did is in the video. But you're recording this. I'm performing this maneuver, you know. And this isn't the best one I did. If I'm right, I overshoots the rotation on this one, which disappointed me. Did I? Yes, look, I've overshot it, look. So I couldn't use it. It can be all done in post. But you get a bit obsessive with trying to do this for real, is what you do. So I turned around and I was like, I am going to get this right. Why is the solo drone only sold by DJI? Probably will change eventually, but yeah, probably stock. It might be this one I did. Do I get this one right? Level up there. No, I paused. Did you see the pause between the change? I don't think that's the best one I did. I did one where I nailed that. Boom. Oh, straight up on the oval again. You know, you cannot do this on anything else. DJI have nailed it with how you can do stuff. Did I land this one? Oh, yeah, 2 degrees. That'll do. That might be the one that's in the video. But here, look, you can start to see this low sun has an effect. 4G icon, yes, because the China version supports 04 Plus, which includes cellular capability 4G. It's not going to be available in Europe. Do I think it'll work with the RC2 Pro in the future? DJI is saying no. DJI today have said on their website no. I don't really know why. Genuinely, I don't really know why. There is a technical difference, mind. The RC Pro 2 doesn't run Android. So I wonder if the Fly app fundamentally... So, the Fly app could fundamentally be different. But yeah, look, you can do some cool stuff. You really can do some very cool stuff. You're starting to see here this fuzz with the lens on the... You can see it there. So you do start to see the stitching having an effect. Towards the sun and low sun is particularly bad. You know, here you'll see... Oh, that's a still. No, it's not. That should be a video. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, that was a screen recording. Over some water doing testing. The features are quite cool as well. You know, the tracking functionality on the boats and stuff. Do I know why the Avata360 doesn't support 1080p 100 frames a second when the FPV with the FPV Remote 3? I don't know. There are specific differences on the modes between the remotes. I only got FPV Remote 3 support about 2 days before launch. I did a quick flight and went, yes, it works. Do I know why? So, if we look at FPV Remote 3, where is the 3? There's no 1080p mode, though. So you're saying, why doesn't it do 1080p 100? Is there 1080p? I can't remember. I'm losing track. Let's have a look. So, FPV Remote 3. Yeah, this low sun in the UK becomes a problem. So that's those two connected. Let's fire it up. Why is there no option for ND filters? There generally isn't on 360 drones. You're going to have to add another piece of glass over the top, and it's going to cause a problem. Okay, so let's just have a look at something. 2 questions. Head tracking. Okay, so someone says, why doesn't it do 1080p 100? Well, I've only got 6K and 8K of that mode. That's how loud it is. Not to be Kappa cool. I don't think it... Brandon, I don't think it is. Someone just asked me there for real estate. I don't think it is. You're too close. Note my footage where I was flying through the woods and the trees. The 360 needs a bit of space to breathe. I'm not sure this is really for indoor flying use. What photo modes does it have? You'd have to try on the RC2 because it doesn't have them on here. Maximum speed in sport mode. It'll be on the DJI spec. We'll have to have a look on the website because I can't remember those numbers off the top of my head. We'd have to look at the DJI numbers. I cannot remember every number. Things like maximum speed and stuff, you can all get off the website. Can it rip freestyle? No. "18 meters a second in sport" is what they're saying. Right. What mode are we in? Normal. There is no head tracking mode there in RC3. Let me go check something. Yeah, hover's pretty good. I will be back in 10 seconds. Let me just get it outside. No. No head tracking with the RC3. No head tracking with the RC3. Something else I'll show you guys as well, and whilst I don't recommend this, for anyone who gets one of these and you want an easy way of shutting it down, you want to do it quickly, right? If you twist it, she shuts down. But you want to keep your fingers like that. It looks like so far I don't have head tracking with the RC3. Which is weird because you... Does the Avata 2 have head tracking indoors? I can't remember. Anyone remember? I thought the Avata and the Neo... Yeah, I have a feeling it does. Yes, it only supports it with the RC motion, or yes, it has it with the manual mode. I think it only has it with the RC motion, isn't it? Only works with the love stick, not RC3. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's the same. I hope I remember to do that when Skynet gets full control. Yeah, so if you're landing it out, you can twist and shout and she will shut down. She will shut down. But you also don't have any of the smart features with the RC3. It's why I don't really recommend it, because it's not really that good with the RC3. It just isn't. I managed to actually get some good weather, as you would have seen. In my testing, we actually got some decent weather for the testing of the drone. Where's the woods footage? I'll share with you this. The woods. See, this is where I think you're going to have issues with it in close quarters. No ND filters. Whether someone will make replaceable ND lenses. Someone will make an ND filter to fit. That's going to happen. But look, in close quarters... Yeah, I know. DJI said they added support for N2 and N3. Look, you will... It will work close quarters, but the band line does appear at short distance. Like, it's not... You can just see it there, like, across there. There is a band line. At close quarters, you will see it at times. Like here, I hit a branch. Is it this one I hit the branch? No. Yes, here, look. Now there, you can really see it because, look, it's right there at this point. But that's where the object sensing... I bounced up against it there with the object sensing. This is the goggles DVR, though. The processing video through their software will be cleaner. Not much. I can show you the actual video of that event, and you can tell me for yourself if you think it looks any better. It's not... It is, but it's still there. Avata2 drone. Where's the woods? I'm just trying to find the woods day. Drone 2? Is it under drone 2? I can't remember which days I did what, so I gotta find it first. Look, yes, DJI can definitely improve things with firmware. That's without doubt. We are still into new territory. 14th. No, it's definitely not the 14th. So I'm just trying to find DJI One. This day, maybe? Is it this day? Let's have a look. Yes, it is this day. So this is single lens mode. So single lens... Yeah, white balance on auto. That is all auto. Single lens mode just records in a normal file. So this is single lens mode you're seeing here. This is just a normal flight. .4K, 60 frames a second. So that's single lens. So now I found the correct day. Now I can bring in the rest of the footage for that. Okay. So I think it should be this flight, if I'm right. Is it this one? No, it isn't, because that's me going faster through the woods. It might be this one then. Let's have a look. Let's have a look if it's this one. This isn't in the best quality that this app can do either. Let me just see if I can put it on HQ for you as well. This freaking app doesn't have struggle. So yeah, the line shouldn't be as bad in the actual recorded footage. No, I don't think it's this one. I'm going the wrong way, ain't I? Don't think it's this one. See, look at that there. You're not really seeing the stitch line. Just going among the trees. It's quite nice. So it's not that file. Let's come off that one. So it's either this one or this one. I don't know. Oops. Need to get rid of that. Thank you. The app does some weird stuff. Honestly, I'm not fully au fait. It's definitely not as bad. God, this app struggles. Come on. Have I hit it yet? Let's have a look. Yeah, it should be here. If I'm right, it's this. If I'm right, it's going to be this bit here somewhere. Here it is. So yeah, look, it's not as bad. You can see it there, look. You can definitely see it. I was worried I'd scratched the lenses. Yeah, so when you're that close, you're gonna... And look, see, even at that distance, stitch line, and only... Look, see, still at that distance, that is not aligned. I don't know how much you guys can see that there, look. Let me just show you. So at that distance, it's still not aligned. It's really not perfect at close quarters. Yeah, simpler might be better. I haven't tried it indoors. I can't really comment on what it's like in that regard. Will the bag hold the drone, the batteries, the RC2, motion controller 3 and goggles 3? It won't hold it with the goggles. Yeah, indoor I think you're probably gonna... You're probably gonna need a bigger bag. But look, even this close, it looks pretty good. But you can see there is the line, look. There is a blurriness to it. This is... The DJI app really struggles, if I'm honest. They have a lot more work to do. I think the Avata 2 is still a fantastic drone, and I would... It's not that bad this side. Just take into account this isn't even full res. It's not exported. You got to export it to really see it. You don't really see it properly until it's exported. This isn't exported video. This is the raw file in the DJI app. There is background processing that's done. But look, you can absolutely go close. And if I pause there, you know, we are right between the trees. That's a cool view. I want to go back to that. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want to be there. No, don't do intelligent tracking. Wrong button. Get back in. Do you know what? Add a keyframe. Right, where are we? I want to zoom back. I want it to be like that. Not intelligent tracking. Keyframe. Keyframe. Not a regional keyframe, just a keyframe. Where's the keyframe gone? Just give me a keyframe. DJI's app is not... Yeah, you should be able to set the keyframe. What I don't understand is why it's not playing ball on the keyframe. I don't want a regional keyframe. Yeah, there we go. There's a normal keyframe. I just want... No, I don't want a regional keyframe. I just want a keyframe. It should be allowing me to just set a standard keyframe. Not a regional keyframe, just a normal keyframe. Not dewarp. Give me wide. Reset. No intelligent tracking. Why isn't it giving me the normal option? This is an older version from the Potato 2. So we're on the timeline. Let's come out a little bit. Don't want asteroid. Just want wide. Really. Dewarped. Don't want a regional keyframe. Where's the normal keyframe? Why isn't it giving me the normal keyframe? What is it doing? Manual framing. Yes. That's what I want to do. I want to manually frame like that. Yeah, it can trap, but I just want a normal keyframe to set the position of where it is, like now. That's a weird view, isn't it? Look at that. You could do some freaky stuff. You can really do some freaky stuff. You really, really can. And you can then take it right. Why can't I take this right out? Oh, wait a minute. Is this single lens mode video? Or 360? No, it's 360. Yeah, you can do some cool stuff. You can do some cool stuff. So, look. It's definitely got some interesting features. That's for sure. I think DJI have done an incredibly good job considering. As for would I choose one over the other? I think price point makes this very, very difficult to make a choice on the other drone. They are different though. Do take into account anti-gravity A1 is sub 250 grams. It's more of a 360 Mini 5 than it is an FPV drone. There's a lot I really like about the anti-gravity A1. Their goggles are on another level. But DJI have done really well here. Genuinely, it is a very good drone. I just worry how much... Look, as long as you're not filming to keep it with you all of the time and have perfect footage, I think you'll be fine. DJI knows this. Oh, yeah, look. One of the titles I had for my video was like the experience shows or DJI comes out swinging. Did you try it with the Fly app? I have no. DJI didn't give us support until like the last few days. The Fly app on this, yes, but the RCN3 I didn't even have support for. I assume now DJI have released a firmware update for that today. Mine isn't even updated. It wouldn't bind to mine at all. I tried it. So I'm assuming DJI has updated the firmware. So if I go down here and plug it in, I'm assuming now DJI have added it. Let's have a look. If it's now been added. But I didn't get this before. Let's have a look. Desktop. And bring this over. Yeah, no, there's no new firmware. So, does that mean the new public drone firmware just works? The remote wouldn't even bind to the drone. So I'm guessing then, see, it's on the latest version. So I'm guessing then DJI's new firmware on the drone has added support. See, if I try binding this overhead, and I tried this the other day, have I updated the Avata since? Let's just try this. So, oh no, you can't bind on this. You have to, oh yeah, they've updated the Fly app. Yes. And by them updating the Fly app, probably means it adds support. Because I couldn't bind it with the Fly app. The Fly app I've got on my phone is the test version as well. So I'll have to go to the store. Oh, it's not in the store, is it? DJI Fly app. Let's have a look. We will test it as we speak. So I'm assuming the new version for Android is 1.20. Is that the new version? Download anyway. Downloading the file. Support for 360, etc. So let's click details. It could take a while. It's a 600 meg app. Oh dear. Yeah, so they hadn't given that to us before. Interesting though, there's no firmware update for this. So if there's no update for this, the RC2 Pro should be compatible, really, shouldn't it? Let's be honest here. There's no reason it shouldn't. Just downloading it now, and we'll double check it. I like the fact that you can use this remote. I do like the fact you can use this remote. If you've got any questions, put them in the chat now and I will try and answer them. Someone said for a normal keyframe, I think you need to select change perspective. Oh, I think it's free view, isn't it? Yeah, there you are, right. Me being a... This app is so... I don't use it on this PC either. So we had a keyframe there. Was Acro covered? Yes. Possible in a firmware update? Yeah. Will DJI do it? I can't tell you. I can't tell you if DJI are ever going to do it or not. So how does that look when we fly like that? Ooh, ooh, that's trippy. Look at that. Where do we want it? That is pretty trippy when you do it like that, isn't it? Trying to find where a position. That is... that is pretty trippy. Oh, it runs like crap on Windows. Honestly, it runs like absolute junk on Windows. I guess it works okay on Mac. Vibe coded might come to mind. Do we think the DJI app was vibe coded? Yeah, you can do some freaky stuff. th of April. Well, according to DJI today on the DJI I'd be very careful. According to DJI today, they're even posted on DJI forum, no manual mode. Yeah, you wouldn't want to. You are right. You wouldn't want to fly Tried the FPV remote. Yes, I have tried the FPV remote. You don't have head tracking, and you don't have any of the smart features. Still waiting for the app to update. Some of the most interesting. I'm too tricky. Yeah, you wouldn't do that with the A1. And look, the A1 is still a very, very, very good drone. Yeah, it is weird why they don't add head tracking. I don't really get it. It doesn't make sense. That's like something out of a sci-fi movie. It's even making me feel ill, if I'm honest. Let's go back to goggles footage. We might be safer with goggles footage. No, that's not worth looking at. Which was this. Let's go back to the desktop while we wait for the remote a second. So this was me testing the goggles down the beach. RC motion again. DJI sent it to me, yes. DJI reached out and sent it. Need to build a mojito. Well, I've been waiting for the version 2 to come out. So you can see the focus track here where you can... Can we tilt the camera in FPV mode? Yes, you can. It will fly like the Avata 2. Where you can, if you have head tracking in single lens mode, it basically behaves exactly like the Avata 2. Yes, head tracking's on the N3. Yeah. So here you can see the focus mode. 4 seconds. Whoop whoop. Package installer. Install in DJI Fly. Open. Okay. Right. Let's have a look, shall we? Shall we bet? Ah, that's interesting. So now I've turned this on a sec, right? So let me pause that and go to the overhead. I just downloaded and updated the app, and it says there's a new update. What's that firmware for? Ah, that firmware was for the Avata360. Not the remote. So, now let's see, will it link? Because I couldn't do this before. RC Pro has the update as well. Interestingly, and DJI is saying it is not compatible. Avata360 detected. So, put it in binding mode. Ow. Now I gotta remember where we bind. Where do we bind? Anyone remember where you bind? I can't remember. Connection guide, Avata360. Connect with RC only. Take out the control sticks. Press. Yes, that's what I've done. So where is the binding option? Then why are you not letting me bind? Go away, go away, go away. Connection guide. Yes, yes, that's what I've done. I wonder if it doesn't think it's connected. Right, okay. Right. Unable to connect. Firmware version too early. Update to latest version. Ah, so now the update has come via the Fly app. So the update wasn't showing on Assistant 2. The update is showing on the Fly app. Okay, that's weird. Why isn't that update showing on Assistant 2 then? That's frustrating. Yeah, it could be a stage push. Okay. Just let it finish, and then we'll just double check it does connect. Thank you. Avata360. Yes. At the moment, mine's in binding mode, so I don't know, should I not be in binding mode? Power on. Okay. Ow! I tell you what, it's got some kick to the props. That's a part. Well, I had a test version of Assistant 2. Powered on, pay now. Press and hold the power button. It's just being a bit slow. Aircraft beeped. Hey! There we go. Very sorted. Very cool. So, RCN2 is working. I tell you what is also nice on it as well, is when you've got it paired to the DJI RC2 and the goggles, you don't need to repair. It jumps between the two kinds of remotes automatically. So here's an example. Will I need to repair it back to my RC2? Let's have a look. There was a very I thought it was very nice. I didn't need to repair. It would just swap back and forth without a problem. So let's see if it does. Which I thought was very nice. Yeah, see, this is now all saying there's an update out because they've released public firmware now. See, I've been on test firmware. I'm not updated to public. Go away. This looks like it's connected. Connect to aircraft. Avata360. Interesting. Yeah, no. So I'm going to have to pair it back to the remote. Okay. Continue. You got to turn it off. It makes you go through this process. Like, I don't know how easy you can see that. Probably not. But it makes you... Let me scroll down. Brightness. There. So it wanted me to power it off and then power it back on. It makes you step through a progress. But what's nice is on the goggles, you don't have to redo this. You can just... So if I... Oh, God, I turned it off. I'm hoping to get the Avata360. I'm just waiting on the reviews first. Yeah, well, it's up. Mine's up now. Many of them are now up. My review went live today, so it's there. It's a big hour video. I tell you what I also did today's video. You will notice I left in a lot of flight footage. I probably put more flight footage in than most reviewers, because I wanted you to see it for yourself. There we go. Sorted. So, it wants to update the firmware now, if we have a look. So, there is now public firmware. New Avata360 firmware. Install. They have now added the public firmware, which I didn't have. I had pre-release. So, let's put it all up to public. But yeah, someone asked earlier, DJI did reach out to me the first time in probably 4 years. This or the Avata 2 for interior exterior real estate. Look, until you fully understand this, I would stick with what you know. If you could, there's some deals on an Avata 2. Look, interior real estate, you might want manual mode, and that rules this out. So, is there anything you need this drone for that you couldn't do? I guess what you want to do is a continuous fly down, fly through and out for real estate work, and then do that 360. I would argue a ground-based camera might be better for the 360 element. It has, with this remote, you do have cine mode, which is a real nice addition. Cine mode may make it worth it. But yeah, I did put a lot of footage in my video. I wanted to show as much as I could to allow people to see some of the good and some of the bad. And it's not that it's all bad, because it certainly isn't. I actually like it. You know, you'll see here in a minute. You know, we're flying around and it's tracking that boat itself. This is where it will track the boat. In the spotlight view, you can see that there, look. It's a cool feature. It's a cool feature. That it just, there you go, latches on and follows the boat. Always a risk with a brand new drone to fly it over water, but it's been a while. I'd had it some time at this point where I was fairly comfortable with it. But even there, when you see it focusing on it in the corner, and you can see it comes up with this. How does it know it's a boat? It figured it out itself. The last version I didn't have the really early versions of firmware some people had, so I can't comment on December and stuff. I had this, I think, early Feb. Yeah, and and so that is what you will have in the 360 footage. That is what you will get in the recorded output, and it lost track in there. And then that was me stopping. Does it support cruise control in cinematic mode? I'll have to check. Still updating the firmware. But it is pretty wild, some of the stuff it can do. I was doing testing on the boats and seeing how you would lock onto them. That one's a bit far out, but it's now locked onto that one. I was looking at what distance you needed to be for the tracking, so I could get an understanding of how far away you would want to be, so it would latch onto that. You go, yeah, I want to be on you, and then it detects it's about, brings it up, pops it into the corner in the goggles, and then does that. I have to be careful of the mast. And it will pick up people as well. It isn't just boats. Like, there's one I'll show you now. This one, I tested it on me as well. At the end, I was testing. So here you will see you can latch onto me as a person. It will detect it's a person. And you'll just see in a minute, like, how it will lock onto me. It will, it does have an animal recognition, yeah. I don't know if it would recognise a cat, but you can see how far out, look, it's tracked me there. That is quite impressive. If you see there how far, and then as I come in, I sort of fly next to myself, and you can see it held the footage. You caught a hint there, look, of that fuzz that can happen. Let me show you again. Especially with the sun. Oh, there, right there. But it does a good job on the boats as well, you know. And with active track. Active track must be on this one. I'm trying to remember where the tracking was. It might be on a different file actually. And then you just get days like this where you can look around. Yeah, the Neo 2 is a good drone. And this is where you sort of have that. How does it compare to the anti-gravity A1? Look, they are both very, very good drones, but they're both different drones. They're not the same product. One's a camera drone, one's an FPV drone, and whilst there is absolute irony here, okay. Firmware updated. Okay. There is real irony here, right? That DJI have made an FPV drone that they give camera drone features to with this remote. So DJI have built an FPV drone with a load of camera drone features. Anti-Gravity have built a camera drone, but you have no way to fly it like a camera drone and only can fly it like an FPV drone. And that's this slight irony here. One is a camera drone with a 360 camera, and one of them is an FPV drone with a 360 camera. Yet, the camera drone with the 360 camera has no way to fly it like a proper camera drone. That is some bizarreness. That is bizarre in itself. I do like how you can look around. You know, it's very nice to be able to, if you want to do that head tracking stuff, You can. Yes, the weather was with me on this release. Don't get me wrong, I had it over a period of time that allowed me to do this. But the weather was with me on this review. I did manage to keep the weather going quite well. The radar view at the bottom is quite cool as well. And I'm going to say something. I quite like Easy Acro. SciFPV said the motion controllers were thought to be a bit of a gimmick at the start for the previous DJI drones, but now DJI seem to perfected it to be good with the Avata360 without needing manual. And I would say, I will also add, the A1 flies very well with their joystick. It's just not a good design. The genuine truth is the A1 design is just not great. But it's nice that you can sort of look around like this. This is the cool part of 360. But again, stitch line will become noticeable. I tell you what, for inspecting things, it's another game altogether. It really is another game altogether. When it comes to inspecting areas. I was having a look around here because I could see some stuff. So I was like, what's this? I was like, ooh, there's a building there. From an inspection perspective, you can do some cool stuff. Can you broadcast? Right, so I've been asked about the broadcast and I need to try it. Someone has asked, can you broadcast to another goggle and have their own head tracking? I highly doubt it. I haven't tested it, but I am not remotely expecting that to be possible. We can try it. So, we're going to have to use this. And then this. But this is slightly dodgy territory indoors, so bearing in mind this could go horribly wrong live on stream. Don't try this at home, children. Right, so we're in normal mode, transmission. I'm going to turn broadcasting on now, okay? I need these. Let me make sure these are in the right mode. 1 second. These might be in 04 mode. Yeah, they are. Let me just switch them. 2 seconds. I don't want to be wasting time doing this without having it right. Okay. Stay there. I have head tracking. just going into audience mode. Right, so head tracking mirrors the master goggle but doesn't have its own head tracking. So the second goggle mirrors the view of the pilot. So with the pilot looks, that goggle looks. That's interesting. That's really interesting. But it also makes sense because what that tells you is it's streaming the feed as you're moving. Yeah. So it does make sense, but it was worth clarifying. Turn broadcast off. And the reason I'm turning it off now is if I don't remember to turn it off, I'll leave it on. No, I just wasn't sure what the behavior would be, whether it would even be a fixed front view or not. I was half expected it just to be fixed. It makes sense, but you never know what it's going to do. You just don't know what, you know, with DJI, could be freaking anything. Does it have head tracking? But and it's nice to see that it works as well. With regards to sort of how active, how real time, there is it's not a lag. It's as I want to do a bit of testing. A bunch of people have asked me about latency in the live view. I'm certainly didn't notice anything particularly bad, but I am going to do testing in 360 mode. It's just impossible for me to do because you can't do 360 mode on the bench, and it won't do 360 mode when you're on the bench. It's very hard to test the live view in 360 mode. It defaults to single lens mode until it takes off. Head tracking latency is quick. I do think there's probably a little bit of delay. There's a little bit where you sort of go like that, and it's like, but I also can't tell if it's more of a smoothing effect. Maximum altitude is 500 meters, I believe, because it's not below 250. Take off and strap it to a pole. It's not 250 grams, so there's no reason you shouldn't be able to go to 500 meters. It's a lot more than 250 grams. We'll just double check on this one. So if we go to settings, safety, maximum altitude, 500 meters. The yellow. And that'll be because of the weight. Yes, enough to get you into trouble. Yeah. Something I will say is, I do wish they'd give Avata 2 to this as well. It's surprising how sort of nice it was to fly with this as a camera drone. They definitely do have a nice balance on the options. It is surprising how they've had a nice balance on the options. You know, it flies very nicely as a camera drone. The only downside is this damn coordinated turns thing. And for those who does it have any green flashing lights for recording? There's no. The only light on this drone is that one there, the little status LED on the top. There are no other lights on this drone at all. Do I prefer the RC2 or the goggles? It would depend what I wanted to do. If I wanted to fly for fun, it's the goggles. If I was trying to film something specifically other than... If you were chasing something, I would be using the goggles and the RC motion. If you were flying indoors, you'd probably want this. I think it depends on what you're doing. So you can fly with that controller and goggles. No, you cannot fly with this and the goggles at the same time. Does the status light flash green? Yes, it is green, but it's dim as hell. It flashes yellow as well. Fly into your ribs area as a collision test. Where is it? Let me get to the remote footage. You know, this was the early remote footage from my testing. This was the early days. And it's a different experience. Flight time, 12 to 15 minutes in my testing. If you take this flight, fully charged battery. Actually, that one wasn't fully charged. I took off at 91%. And this flight had 12 minutes to 25%. No full manual mode on this drone. But it does have this FPV view to it. When you fly it, watch the rock in the footage. It does have this little rock to it. You'll see it in a minute. It does have this, which is taken out by Rocksteady and everything. But it does have this sort of rock to it. And because it doesn't have a 2-axis stabilized gimbal, it has this coordinated turn stuff, which I don't really like. Max speed 18 meters a second. You can see the rock there. Let me show you the coordinated turns. Oh yeah, you'll see it here when I turn. Watch when it turns. It's very... I'll turn the drone around. Oh no, you sort of saw it there as I... Here you go. Now you'll start to see that is that coordinated turns, look. And it hangs on. See there, look, look. I was flying forward. Look at that. You'll see it there. So I turn, turn, turn. I'm now flying forward. And then it corrects. It's weird. The. Yeah, Tokyo Drift mode, yeah. It's a... I'd rather it didn't have that. And it's like, keep the angle, keep the angle, keep the angle, and release. Keep the angle, keep the angle, keep the angle, and release. Now, it is far worse in single lens mode. In 360 mode, it almost goes away completely. Because in 360 mode, it's able to smooth it out. This was me testing that wobble. You can see a little wobble on him. I do like that zoom out feature. For those who haven't seen it, you'll see it now. Substantially noisier than the anti-gravity A1. It is substantially noisier. I don't want to risk but remember, a lot of this is all pulled out in Rocksteady. So, does it have manual mode? No, there is no manual mode. Not today. A lot of this is all pulled out in Rocksteady. So, what you see in the drop there, look, see the stitch line then reappear there? It just appears. There, right there. Do you see it? And it's often as you move. Watch there now. Right then. And you can look around with the standard remote. To be fair, DJI have done a lot really well. A lot really well. You can see this view is a little stuttery, and you see that on the goggles as well. The picture-in-picture view is not as real-time as anti-gravity. You do get this stutter on it, and you will see it in the goggles footage as well. In my initial testing with it, in my first testing, you'll see in a minute the live view comes up. This is single lens mode. Oh no, it's not 360. There, do you see how delayed that was? This is what did bug me. So just watch. So what should happen is when I move away, you should see that view come up like that. So I'm already looking to the side and flying that direction, and it hasn't come up. I'm now fully side on and it hasn't come up. I'm looking down and it hasn't come up. And oh, there it comes. So wait there, how many seconds did I start moving? So let's go from there. So we're at 25. To 30. That almost took 5 seconds to come up. Now this on the anti-gravity is that. And here, did you see how it faded away? If I slow the... Can I change the speed? Speed. 0.25. This is where I think the goggles are struggling a little bit. Ready? Just watch how it goes away. It decides it's going, and it sort of breaks down. Wait for it. Oh, there you go. So the image goes in this thing. It's almost like the goggles are struggling with the vision assist window. See, I'm looking down. That vision assist window should be up again now. Still not up, still not up, still not up. Still, oh, there it comes. Like, how long was that? So if we go down, so we're at 37 seconds. 8, 9, 2, 3, 4 seconds that time. It's not as sharp as I would personally like. You can turn this on permanently, mind. You don't have to have it in auto. You can have it on all of the time. Like I suspect the goggles are heading towards their limit of what they can do. Is what my suspicion is, because we've not got new goggles. We've got the same goggles. So, and look the live. You can see there you're moving forward. It's not real time like the main view. This is actually one of the very first flights in my testing. This is just not quite. No, it appears to be a single feed. Yeah, it could be the polling back and forth. Anti-gravity is a little bit better in that regard. It's just quicker to boom, 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 boom. They must be sending another stream of video. This is the Avata360. I'm just showing some of the footage from my early testing. That's all, just to demonstrate the thing. And look, and I will say, I quite like the Easy Acro, and I know it's a toy feature. I know, for anyone whinges at me about it. Oh, I know, but I did find it quite amusing. I did find it quite amusing because it doesn't move the aircraft. So you're literally just flipping the 360 view, and you can do all of this in post. But I did find it quite amusing. Because you just do it without thinking what objects are around you or anything like that. You just... because it's just doing it. So you just get happy, trigger happy, because you just go do. I'm just gonna do that. Mad thumb skills. Because the drone doesn't have to move, because it's 360, and then it can do the juke roll as well. This is the motion controller. You can only do this with the motion controller. Does it not? It does show the flips in post. So what you... the simple rule to say about the drone, whatever you see through the goggles, it records. But because it's recording 360, you could change it. But it would record those acro modes into the... Think of it as anchoring. When it's recording, it's in 360 mode, it's recording a spherical 360 image, but you are anchored to whatever you see through the goggles. The anchor point is your view through the goggle. The only time that changes is if you are using the spotlight focus mode, where you tell it to anchor itself on an object. But when you're flying, it anchors itself on your direction of travel. I'm just trying to remember which one this is. I think it's just me just playing with it again. How hard would it be to remove the flips? You can remove them. Yeah, you can absolutely. You could just tell it to fix the perspective of the footage. Because what it's actually doing is it's not recording the move in the 360 footage. It's recording the anchor point. So all that actually happens in the playback is the anchor point moves, not the footage rotates. It's recording a fixed field of view at all times. It's a constant fixed field of view. All it's changing is the anchor point. So the data in the footage is saying move the anchor point there, move the anchor point there, do that with the anchor point, do that with the anchor point, do that with the anchor point, to give you that perspective. But all you then do is change the anchor point. But yeah, this was just my testing with Easy Acro, just to see. It's more fun than I wish I would admit to, is what I'll tell you that. It's more fun than I wish I would be willing to admit to. And then I was just doing some long runs down the woods. Not this one. Where's the long test runs? The faster recording modes down the woods is testing. It's the Avata. Look, okay. It flies very similar to the Avata in single lens mode. It's bigger and heavier, so it gives it a bit more mass. Okay. Here's something I can show you, actually. So I flew both of these drones down the beach. And I'll show you how it handles. See there in the live, you just see the line. But let me show you something with the Avata 2 down. So I was doing a bunch of testing to try and compare the two drones. Which video file is this? Let's have a look. So this. So this, is this the right one? No. This was static testing. What about this one? Let's have a look. This is the Avata 2. Okay. So I was flying down the beach with both drones to test them. Right, so this is Avata 2. Okay. And then I'll swap over to the 360. Avata 2 4K 60. So just look at the bank angle the Avata 2 has to maintain forward flight in the wind, because there's wind coming up against from the beach. This was a bit of a rough day. Okay, so maintain the angle. This is the Avata 2. With the love toy as well. We'll just swing around then, and then we'll come down the beach and I'll swap back to the other footage. It struggles with that wind, and you'll see in a minute it's even worse as I come around chasing the tide. I'm even now having to bank in even more. It was blowing me up the beach, so I had to drop in a bit of bank angle, and I wasn't happy then with how high I was, so I had that much angle just to try and keep it. If you was in Acro, you wouldn't have had to have been in an angle like that. Physics is the same. You would have. The camera's no different. It's not stabilized. Acro would have had the same angle. The angle is to beat against the wind. The laws of physics apply. The angle would have been the same. I think I did a second run because I wasn't quite how happy. Turn the camera angle sideways, flying. Oh, right, okay. So yeah, look, that's the angle I had to have on the Avata 2. And then I did do the same flights. Is it this one? Yes. So this is the 360. So this is now the 360. Okay. Same time, literally flew one, came down, flew the other. Just getting myself lined up to try and do the same flights. This is single lens mode, I will add. I think I balked it the first time and ended up going, I'm not happy with that. So this is single lens mode. Honestly, it is quite on par. I do a couple of flights up and down. Similar angle. Honestly, the footage between them, not this time of year. I wouldn't get away with this in summer. In summer, I'd have no hope. For me to be able to get down here in this, it was fucking windy as hell as well. It was windy as hell. But I'm really impressed with how single lens mode holds up. But you do get that floatiness to it. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to get near this in like this in summer. It's only because it's a little bit wintry. Yeah, it's still a bugger of an angle. Notice how brighter the image is though compared to the Avata 2. It's a much brighter image. Single lens mode is on par with the Avata 2. If we do a timed spot, right? So if we come down, if I zoom in and show you, if we go from... Alright, so let's use this as the anchor point, right? So these stones here, we're going to stop there, right? Video, zoom, double. But he doesn't work well on this. Honestly, the footage quality in single lens mode is really similar to normal mode. To the Avata 2. So this is recorded with Rocksteady. What was this recorded with actually? Because that's drone footage. Rocksteady is on, but it isn't horizon steady. I would have to fly it. I don't know if it's supported. I don't know if it records gyro data. Genuinely don't know. I'll have to check that. Because the Avata 2 supports gyro data, doesn't it? There's one way to find out. We'll check. Try and get these fucking goggles on. Actually, we'll use the remote. So, let's do a quick test and see if it records gyro data, because I don't know. So let me just stick it in wide. I tell you what I have done in this as well, right? So single lens mode, wide, rock steady. Oh! I can't turn rock steady off. You can't turn off rock steady. Camera field of view wide, normal, natural wide. You can't turn rock steady off. Can I do it from the menu? No, you can't turn it off. There you go. No gyroflow data, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that answers that question. Why can't you check? I somewhat get why they're doing it now. Because you've not got a fixed field of view. They're not giving you the ability to see the full image the lens is capable of. They are permanently restricting you to be in a fixed field of view. Yeah, it actually does make sense when you think about it. Use the 360 tool. Yeah, well, see, these files are pre-baked. So for those who don't know, if you haven't seen, the files on the 360 come in a custom format for 360. You can record D-Log M. Yes. So, I wasn't told about the RC N2 or RCN3. I wasn't made aware before launch. I knew it worked with the RC2 because they sent me one. I knew it worked with the goggles because I already had goggles. You got to understand, communication is always challenging. It isn't like you get a press pack, right? And that has all of the basic features and covers. You know, this is what we think the best selling parts of this drone are. Here are the bits we'd like you to include in your review. And they're things like focus tracking. We'd like you to talk about the focus tracking feature. We'd like you to talk about, you know, they'll pick 3 things. And this isn't DJI alone. Almost every brand works the same. So they'll say, here's the points. Here's what we'd like you to highlight. So, and this actually is a good point for me to bring up because I hadn't been it. So, some people, there had been a couple of comments saying, wait a minute, I don't trust your video. What's going on? You didn't do your normal disclaimer at the start of your video. Well, I did, but I did it in text. And there's a reason I did it in text. I was trying to do everything I could to get the video below an hour. The video needed to be less than an hour or it would have died on YouTube. It was already probably half an hour longer than anyone else's. Okay? If you look at any review of this drone, I reckon I'm half an hour longer than anyone's. Let's have a look. Is anyone done a video over 30 minutes? So, 16 minutes. If we go recently uploaded, okay? 13, 16, 16, 21, 7, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 14 minutes, 26 minutes, 25 minutes, 22 minutes. What does this tell you? Everyone wants their video. Everyone needs videos within that certain time frame. Oh, God knows how fucking buried am I? How fucking... I haven't even seen my video yet. Oh, God. Well, these views are going to go well, aren't they? Come on. Oh, this is a piss take. Oh, that's me feeling depressed. Fucking... Have I missed it or something? Am I really that far down the list? It seems so. I've got review in the title, so let's see it. There! If I come up. Now it's come up. So, look. Now, I'll be honest. The final edit came in at 57:13. But the first edits were literally fucking 1 hour dead. Okay? So, what I did at the start of this was something... I'd rather have said it, but I didn't have the time. So for anyone who's going, well, where's your disclaimer? Right? Wait for it. There. It is at the start, on the screen. DJI provided this Avata360 to review. We may get to keep it. I don't know. It hasn't been confirmed. We have not been paid or received any form of sponsorship. We retain full editorial control of all of the content, and all thoughts and opinions are my own. Now, the only thing I will say is, you may have seen I didn't say, and they have not seen this video, because that wouldn't have been true. They had. Part of the requirements was they had a preview of the video, and in fact, they had 3. There were 3 edits of the video. DJI provided feedback. Nothing related to anything I had said. It was more about, can you mention this that I hadn't mentioned? And it was around the focus spotlight. DJI think the focus spotlight is a big feature. And I agree. It actually is really cool. And I hadn't put it in the first cut because I didn't have the weather to record it. I only recorded that boat footage on Sunday. That was the last bit for me to do. So the first video had this, then I had a second cut, and then the final cut I'd cut down a little bit. I managed to get the time down on it. There were 3 edits, and DJI had viewed them because that was part of the conditions of the launch. And I have no reason I wouldn't show a manufacturer video if they asked. But at no point had they said, we don't like what you've said here. It was simply, hey, focus spotlight is a big feature DJI feel with this product. They really do think it's a major feature. And I agree, it works really cool. It does work very, very well. But I couldn't get the video basically below an hour. Yeah, look, what I will say is this. I don't know if I'm on good terms. Good terms is a complicated word. What I will say is this. I had a very random reach out from DJI, which I was incredibly surprised at. Everything I've said in the past is true. Nothing has changed. It was a, hey, we've got a product we think you'd like to see. Would you sign this NDA? The NDA was more than reasonable. Hell froze over, as I said. And they showed me the details and they said, hey, can we send it to you? And I went, yes. And it turned up the next day. Literally the next day. And I provided them some bug information, which I have. I found a few bugs in the firmware, like I always would. And I provided logs and stuff on that. We had an early cut. We had the second cut where they said, can you put in about Spotlight? We really think it's a good feature. And I said, I'm trying. The weather's shit, but I will try and do it. And it was only Sunday I managed to get out and fly around those boats. That was literally Sunday. Last Sunday that was, and I finished the edit Sunday. And I'm going to be clear. I sent a bit of a shitty email to them about the launches, that everyone else was allowed to release footage and I wasn't. And I won't publish the email. People have seen the email that I sent them, and that may have ended the relationship, but I've had some good feedback on it. It wasn't nasty, it was constructive is the term I'll use. I didn't like how this launch has been handled. That's just a criticism of some people were allowed to publish content early. And many of us were not. And I wasn't alone in that. Others were as well. So I fed that back and I just said it was disappointing. And it doesn't really, as a smaller creator, make you feel that you're being treated the same or given a fair opportunity. And they took that feedback on board, which was great, you know. And it has been incredibly straightforward to work with them in this one. I was just annoyed you had fucking these people releasing all of the info beforehand. Because I thought we were all working to a deadline. And I put a lot of effort in. That's an hour video. Trust me, that's a monster. To put that video together has been a monster. I still wish DJI would upgrade the Avata 2 so they could fly with the RC2. I agree. I think that would be a great product. So look, I will say now a big thank you to DJI. I have thoroughly enjoyed having a look at this early. It's been nice. I'd like to think maybe we're in a better place. And if that is good, great. You know, I'm always honest. That never changes. Yeah, and someone's asked me about teardown. So, teardown is a little bit complicated. I'm not going to say I can't, but I might have to buy one to do it. It's a bit of a funny position. I might have to do that. It's just there are some limitations on some things. It gets complicated when NDAs are involved. It just gets a little bit complicated. And it's no criticism. No criticism at all. It's not a criticism of DJI. There is some wording in many NDAs which puts you in a bit of a difficult position. Around releasing information on their IP. But if I could, it's thing. I'm interested in how easy it is to come apart. Something a couple of people mentioned, actually, and we'll finish on this. So, from a repairability perspective, if you look, there's a lot of external screws. So, from a repairability point of view, the top is all one duct. Okay, so if you look at the drone, tell you what, my OCD as well. Lettering pointing that way. Logo pointing that way. What? What's that about? Why is that not 180 degrees? Hello? What's going on there? Anyways, so from a shell perspective, you've got a top shell. Underneath is all exposed screws. I'm not seeing any stickers covering anything here. This bottom shell looks like this comes off as one unit, and it looks quite easy to take apart. You've got a screw there. So if you were to undo that, all of these, so they, all the way, I think that would come off. As one unit. So it does look, and that must be where the main board is. There's clearly a power board at the back here, okay? When you look down in there, there's a board down the bottom. So again, I suspect that is the ESC there, horizontally there, and then the rest of it is there. And yeah, if you look at the board, your SD card, and yeah, it looks highly repairable. And then it almost looks like this front module comes off as one. Then, so I think you take that off and then undo that, and then that will come off. We don't know the motor sizing. DJI haven't specified it that I've seen. But yeah, it looks fairly straightforward. I don't know if Junus is still here. Did we think this was the Eagle 3, not the Eagle 3T, Junus, in this? So it looks fairly straightforward. Certainly not shocking, you know. Yeah. And then you got the big old batteries, and they are a big battery. For night flying as well, you've got plenty of space here for mounting stuff. There doesn't look to be anything on the top, but there must, I think there is stuff going up to the top. So I suspect there's a GPS antenna along here. There is some cabling going up the side. I can feel it. But yeah, they've pretty much got everything into that thickness. That space thickness there is everything. This is not sub 250. This is far from sub 250. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Sub 250. Sub 250. Yeah. So, yeah. Right. That's it. The Avata360. Who'd have thought? Such a surprise to us all. But hey, it's not bad at all. Not too bad. Right, let's wrap this one up. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. We'll be back. We won't be back Sunday. Will I be back Sunday? Yes, I will be back Sunday. Sorry. I'm getting confused which weekend it is. We will be back Sunday. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. And I will speak to you soon.